Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Today we're going to be talking about my alt account. It's been quite a long time since I've touched on this account, but I have been playing it every single day still. And just as a side note, god damn, I have this 7 red star Mephisto that I'm not going to get on my main account. Although I did pull a 6 red on my main, I am not fishing for 5% for a 7. So I got this actually on a lucky single orb pull too. Like, I was happy, but also really mad that it wasn't my main account. Anyways, I am about 9 months into this account, and I want to kind of go over what my priorities now are, and also as we're kind of leaning into or moving into absolute AForce, I want to talk about why this team actually is not going to be a priority for me, and this might be my next nowhere team. And so, for those of you who have been following along this channel for a long time, you might know what I mean when I say this is the next nowhere team. Because, for me, anyways, because war is the last priority for every single person, unless there's a reason to build it, which there may be in like 6 to 8 months. But there's a lot of times where you just can't build these characters because I'm going to be having to finish up Dark Dimension 8, and I still have lots of characters that I need to build. We're going to talk about all this and more. So, if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. So where am I in the achievements? I've logged in for 273 days. Now, I did actually get my big Mephisto, I think it was like day 268, so it was awfully close to 9 months. Now, I could have done this a little bit quicker. Where I struggled the most in my Dark Dimension 7 journey actually was DD7 Legendary. Believe it or not, I spent the most time in Legendary. I had Old Man Logan, and he carried the majority of it, but most of my Legendary characters were low stars. And so that was a big problem that they just can't kind of end up dying, and then eventually they'd all just pile up on Old Man Logan, and that ended up being a little bit of a problem. So I think that took me the longest out of all of the sections, believe it or not, in Dark Dimension 7. I'm not necessarily here to go over all of my picks, but you can kind of see, well, maybe I will. Like that, I can show you very quickly the kinds of characters that I built. City should be no-brainer. Spire Society, Dark Dimension 7, Dark Dimension 8. No biggie there. For Global, I ended up doing Orcus, I'm pretty sure, which I'll end up doing in Apocalypse, which is it was usable, I'm pretty sure, right? No Mythic, right? So maybe it wasn't, but I did use a mixture of Nightcrawler and Orcus, as you can see with my G19 picks here. So I did Scientist Supreme, Sentinel, Nightcrawler, Nimrod, and Agatha, and I think I had Lady Deathstrike. Sorry, so I had 6, I suppose. I think maybe I interchanged someone when someone died. I put in Agatha. And then for Cosmic, again, it was just all Annihilators, super easy. That was basically a one-shot there. I used Doctor Strange as well, which was really good. So Doctor Strange, Thanos, Endgame, Vol, Gladiator, and Gore. I think Gore wasn't really that amazing, but, I built him up anyways for Arena and whatnot. So those were my characters there. Obviously, the Mythics were the same that I'd done on my main accounts. So it was Ultimus, Skrull, Apoc, and Kestrel. That's what I ended up doing for that. And that was, and Legendaries, that was probably the worst. Like I said in the intro there, that's down here, right? Isn't that where they have them now? I really don't like the way that they have this new filter system. But anyways, here, you can see my problem that, like, they're just not really high on the red stars. Red Hulk died pretty quickly. Honestly, my beefiest was Black Bolt, and then Green Goblin died really quick because he just doesn't have the stars. This trial is just a pain in the ass because I'm not building up new Avengers to get a higher star on Green Goblin. So it is what it is there. But yeah, Old Man Logan carried. This is before Shadow King, and I don't have him at Gear Tier 19 anyways. And the problem with Shadow King a little bit is that he's 4 gear pieces, so he's a little bit more expensive. I'm not even sure what his overall value is necessarily in Dark Dimension. If you've used him in Dark Dimension 7, I don't think that you would squeeze him out in 8, personally, because I just don't see him fitting in there. But if you have, let me know in the comments down below what you've been up to. Now, my roster has a lot of stuff that I'm working on, and that's why I just can't really commit to this upcoming team of Absolute AForce, with the exception, which I don't actually have them started yet, so I should go do that on this account. PS, I just really don't like the art styles for some of these new characters. Like, the pixels going on Medusa's hair is just wild. There's like, the amount of pixels is very limited. It looks honestly pretty terrible. Miss Marvel Classic looks okay a little bit. Funny thing is that she also has the Kree tag, and that was not mentioned in the AForce blog. I don't know if this has any value or not, though. Let me know if you think it does. Like, I don't know. Are there any characters with like crossover stat bonuses to Kree? Does Ronan do that at all? I mean, that'd be really stupid to do because he's such an old character, but I don't know. I was just wondering if there was any value to the Kree tag. Kahori does have an insane kit, right? You know, I covered this when I leaked the kit way back, I don't know, a couple weeks ago now. Kahori is probably going to be the one character. Kahori is going to be like my Nova. So on my main account, I did upgrade Nova. This is the only character of Nowhere that I did upgrade, and I probably will do the same to Kahori when she comes out. Now, given the fact that she's the first character to come out, I also believe that she's going to be the character that gets the free to play event. We have enough data now to suggest that the first character, unless they do something crazy different for Kahori because she's so OP, but they've done the first character for every patch since the Annihilators. They did Gladiator, they did Sentinel, they did Blade. Uh, what was what was this past patch? I honestly, oh, Astral, Ancient One, which is ongoing right now, right? And then Kahori, you know, and so I think Kahori is very likely to get one as well, even though she's super OP. So who knows? Maybe they won't, just because like she seems to be the best character on the team. She seems to be the one character that could be more plug and play. But as far as the rest of the characters go, I'm not really that interested in it. And maybe there will come a time, like in 6 to 8 months, another trial, you know, just like Mercs for Money was required for Shadow King, where I might need to raise them up a little bit, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to that. Because right now, as far as what I need to build right now, it's a lot. You know, I need to focus on Dark Dimension 8, or I need to work on Dark Dimension 8, and I'm still stuck at City Villain. And I did this intentionally because I was too focused on building some other stuff along the way that I kind of put it to a side a little bit. So I'm sitting on like 6 million purple ions that I'm ready to put into characters and things like that. But I was slow at bringing up my city villains. So my first one that I have got up to purple 3 and to 95 G18 is Red Goblin. I'm probably going to go with at least the G18. I'm probably going to do the 3 Hive Mind characters with Craven and Vulture, but I have a lot of levels to go. The problem with Sinister 6 was that I just, you know, this account was built at a time where Sinister Six was kind of old and still kind of are, but and while they're useful, it's just that they were not a priority for me. Crucible is not a priority on this account, and I was focusing on I am focusing on PvE, raids, and Battle World and that kind of stuff. So as you can see, I still have Astral that I need to build up. I just unlocked Ancient One because of the. You know what? Actually, I pulled a jackpot on Ancient One on my alt account, but also with the event ongoing right now, I was able to get her to a 4-star, and I'm slowly building her up. Now, my alt alliance is running difficulty 4 of Battle World, so I mean, I've been able to clear it so far, the elite mission, with Moondragon at 95, Shadow King at 95, Ancient One at 85. I have Kestrel at 100, and then Doctor Strange at 100 as well. You know, Doctor Strange is special, does a really good job at clearing the waves. So does Ancient One's special, although this one doesn't hit as hard because she's only at 85. And so I'm just slowly kind of building them up a bit. And then, you know, the Astral rework is, I guess, going to go live later on this week, is what I've heard. So that's one thing that I'm working on. And then Emma Frost XMen is going to be out, I guess the month long is soon, right? And so eventually I'll get her unlocked too. So I'm going to need to work on her. I just, you know, with Wasp and Ironheart at level 1, my Wasp is like 3-star as well. Ironheart is maxed because of, is shard maxed because I think she's in the raid orb, I believe, because I pulled a lot of that. So that makes sense as to why I have that. But I have like no intentions of really wanting to do this. I am not a war lover at all, you know, and the kits to these characters are really unchanged for the most part for Wasp and Ironheart. So they don't really have any plug and play value at all, like outside of war. I don't see anyone outside of the 3 main new characters of AForce being viable in other game modes. You know, Corey, I think, is probably just going to be super plug and play in places like Crucible and things like that. So I still think it's going to be a good idea to get her, and I'm going to try and build her if I can, you know, when I get her unlocked. But I just have a lot of things ongoing right now. Even my Omega Sentinel is to the point where like we're doing Orcus D2, but not D3. And so I feel like I think we did go up to D3 one time, and I just was not, you know, I didn't have my characters high enough. Omega Sentinel's not high enough to be able to sim my way through here. So there's a lot. I can probably take Silver Surfer off. I don't really don't need to upgrade him anymore. I managed to get Shadow King to 4-star. I don't know if I'm going to get him to 5-star within the confines of this event because my mercs for money are not built up very high too. There's a lot of characters that I just have not had the gold and training modules to be able to upgrade, because this is a big problem with mid game accounts, I guess, is that you really have to kind of focus on a few things at a time. You can't stretch yourself too wide, and that's a big problem with building up your roster and understanding your priorities. And so I've made my priorities basically finishing up Dark Dimension 8. A lot of the characters I do have at 100, so that's not really a big problem. Other than City Villain, I do feel that that is a bit of a block. For Global Hero, I do want to talk about that very briefly, because I don't think I'm gonna have to level them up a little bit more. That's still a small problem. I'm wondering if I should wait and maybe take Emma Frost X-Men in there into Dark Dimension 8. I would love to know, actually, where is Global Domain, right? Where's that? I'd love to know what people's thoughts are if they have brought up Emma Frost X-Men and used her lately in Dark Dimension 8 Global Hero, because that's something that I'm thinking about. Emma Frost X-Men with Extreme X-Men, right? It would have to be like the 4 Extreme X-Men with Emma Frost X-Men. I think that's probably the best thing to do there, because I can't use some of these other characters. And so I'm going to have to raise them to 100 and maybe G19 them, maybe not, maybe just G19 Gambit, because they're kind of old now. And I do see a new mutant raid team coming in the near future, whether it's in January or in February. If you've been following this channel, then you've been hearing some rumors about Immortal X-Men, and there's also a rumor about a new Brotherhood team coming. And I don't know if it's going to be a Brotherhood rework or a new tag or anything like that, but there's something on the horizon that's coming up. And so I don't want to over invest in Extreme X-Men, but at the same time, they're also the characters that I need to use to get through Global Hero. The rest of them I'm pretty sorted, I think. Orcus for Global Villain, that's my plan. And then the Cosmic Legendary lane, like, that's fine too. I have the Annihilators and Old Man Logan and all that stuff, and I have Mephisto. So that's not really a big problem there. I just need to maybe accumulate a little bit more on the purple ISOs, but I'm pretty close. Like, I'm probably enough to do all but the last section if I were able to just do it all right now. But I do need to level up my characters, and so that's where I'm hitting a little bit of a crunch, especially kind of having to go back to Vulture and Craven to like 95, because that's, and then Venom and Carnage to 95, because that's probably where I want them to get through Dark Dimension 8. I mean, it might still be a little bit slow, but I'm willing to do that, slowly over the next little while. Other than that, I'm kind of waiting for Old Man Logan to come back around for its permanent event as well. I finally did get Captain Carter to 7-star. Emma Frost, I'm getting up to 7-star really quickly here. And so I will be ready for that. And I really hope that they bring it back for a permanent event as well. But if you want to check out the rest of my roster and kind of where it sits out right now, a lot of this is more recent stuff, right? We have Orcus, we have Apocalypse, Mephisto up here, the Annihilators, Spider Society, right? Some of the best teams in the game that I have at G19 that I used in Dark Dimension 7. And a lot of these are more recent characters. So in order to stay ahead, and especially to stay ahead as a free-to-play player, in this case, my baby account, right? I need to kind of pick and choose. Now, I did also bring up Night Stalkers, but I have not brought up Man-Thing, because I don't need Man-Thing for the raids. I'm using the four Night Stalkers with Mephisto in place of Man-Thing, and that's fine. I'm able to sim that no problem. And so that's what I'm currently working on right now. I have not upgraded them to G19 because I don't need to, and I'm being a bit picky with my gear, things like that. And you can see kind of like the rest of my lower tier roster in the kind of the 300 to 400k range there as well. Even my Illuminati are not up to, G19, that kind of thing. My Hank's still down there at G18, level 95. And so, things are a little bit tougher on this account than my main account as far as being able to build quickly, because I have a lot of things that I still need to upgrade. And I think that's the biggest challenge, as far as that. Let me know, though, what your thoughts are in the comments down below, especially if you're a newer mid-game player. I really wanted to do this video to kind of just highlight what I've been up to on this account and kind of share where I am and where I'm going forward with that. I haven't been doing too much on the side of Cosmic Crucible. I'll be honest, like, I'm not, having 2 accounts is really challenging when it comes to PvP for me to care. And so as far as where I'm at here, I think I'm at gold 2. So I'm not really into platinum. That would be nice, the diamond orbs, but I just don't have the time to really invest in this too much. So I haven't been, sometimes I just play like 3 matches and hope that they don't attack. This does happen a lot, actually, especially in the gold range. So sometimes I pick up wins for free, almost that way, by just doing some attacks. But just working away on Dark Dimension 8, stockpiling some red gear, also with the Turkey store, of course. I did get that 7 red Mephisto, right? So I've just been kind of stockpiling more red stuff in preparation of maybe a G20 around the corner, maybe in January or something like that. At this point, we don't know, right? You know how they're going to be releasing the next progression system, but you know only time will tell, of course. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What are you working on right now? You know, and how do you feel about AForce? It's a war team, and if I'm going to try and skip anything, it's going to be a war team. It may come back to quote unquote bite me later, especially if it's a trial thing, but I'll deal with that, you know, when that bridge comes. That's the end of this video, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all next time. Boilon signing out.